Welcome to a special OrkU with scary effects and voices. Oh, you're scary. Scary people, especially Noob, scariest of them all. And now your scariest host with the most, Z.
That is right. You may know me as the Nobel Award-winning prize scholar, Professor Z, and we're having a very, very special evening here. I am joined by my alternate super noob. He's not just regular noob. He's super noob. You can even double him to noob. And then the man with the beard, the biggest beard I know, that would be Scott. But more importantly than the three of us, we have a exceptionally special guest with us today. We have Mark from Cinephile Man Cave, who's going to talk about some scary movies. As we get ready to do our Halloween special, we're going to do some Halloween specials for you with a real movie pro out there. And Mark, why don't you tell us a little bit about your site and what you do, and you know how I think you're a horror fan. So let's chat.
Oh, a little horror fan. I'm a movie fan, more or less. But in October I go uber horror. A little bit about myself is I've been watching movies, I don't know, since I was a kid, obviously. And now that I'm older, I get to appreciate it more. I more or less try to, listen to every podcast or commentary about it. I get into trivia. I've been called the king of or prince of useless trivia at times, but one of the things I've been wanting to do, especially during this pandemic, is start a podcast of my own. And it's been sometimes I over research things. So one of the things I did was start with Instagram, and I said it was better off doing it in October because you have the 31 days of horror, and I started watching films every day and starting to build a following. Hopefully following will continue throughout after October. And go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's awesome. Have you actually started your podcast yet, or are you still trying to get that off the ground?
I've been rehearsing. How about that? I've been trying to come up with a title.
Are we your first podcast then, or are we popping?
Yes, you guys are. Actually, yes, you are. Thank you very much for inviting
Mark, you say this thing. You called it earlier. It was research, I think, is what you said it was.
Oh, here we go.
What is that? And if it's something that you think Noob could do, it's something that he could do easily, or is this above and beyond his abilities?
Oh, I am. I too much research. I look into things too much. It's a fact of life.
No, so that's better than Noob, who doesn't look into anything at all.
Zero.
There was something you didn't know what it was. There was something the other day.
A zucchini. I did not know what a zucchini was.
He did not know what a Zamboni was.
Those are the same things.
Yes.
Do you know what a Zamboni is, Mark?
A Zamboni machine, I know what it is.
Well, fuck you then. Yes, Noob struggles at times, and he's supposed to be our hot internet researcher, which is... and the writer of all stories.
Yes.
And the researcher of all topics.
It's mainly just Twitter porn on this computer.
Hey, listen, to each his own.
Just saying, I saw what you were putting down when you said you do research, Mark. I know. I know what you're doing.
No, the fact is, if everyone looks at some of the films I've been watching in the last 30 days, last 26 days, I put down some trivia facts. I put quotes. But the trivia facts are really interesting. For example, a few days ago, I watched Psycho, and a lot of people know it's based on a book. People do know that it's on a Universal lot. A lot of people do know. But what you might not know is that the house that got the basis of everything is from Haverstraw, New York. And there's a painting that's now in the MoMA, which still is there today. Listen, for a movie geek like myself, yes, I will love that. That's something that I can enjoy.
Talk about trivia with Psycho. Did you know that Richard Bloch, the writer of Psycho, was actually a student of H.P. Lovecraft's?
I did not know that, but it doesn't surprise me.
from my understanding, he was in a like a writing circle that H.P. Lovecraft was hosting before he passed. So just some interesting. I love interesting trivia.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here. Psycho, I haven't heard of this, but it's based off of the wildly popular A&E show Bates Motel. Is that correct?
It's
No, but there was before Bates Motel came out, there was a pilot for the Bates Motel. It was on NBC. It bombed. I remember it was in the late 80s. I forgot the name of it. But they were trying to capitalize on all the Psycho movies, obviously.
I could Google this, but that seems like a lot of typing.
that seems like a lot.
Fucking thing sucks!
I don't think you could keep up there, noob. Well, one thing that we were going to do was run through our top 5 horror movies, not in any particular order, because it's hard to get through. Like what constitutes a great horror movie? Like there's different people have different tastes, and I know it was very difficult as I was compiling my own list.
And one of the things that we do find out, and what brought us to this conversation, was Forbes came out with a list. As I'm cleaning up my beer here while I'm talking, Forbes came out with a list recently of the scariest horror movies of all time, and they rated it according to heartbeat. And they got into a conversation where I don't think heartbeat is what necessarily constitute what a scary horror movie is, and what's going to scare you, and what's going to stick with you, and everything else. And so necessarily, what are your favorite horror movies, and why are these horror movies your top 5, and what was it about these movies that stuck with you for so long?
Very true. Well, again, before we get to the top 5, in recent years, one of the things is, and I know this is getting totally digressing, but you think about this, Christmas is not always about Christmas movies. It's about what is a Christmas movie. Did it have a Halloween theme to the whole thing? In recent years, a lot of people have been saying Hocus Pocus is a Halloween film because obviously of its witches. It's showing kids trick or treating, so people think that's technically a Halloween film. But my films, I had one that I thought might be, but they're not in particular order. But I'll definitely show you. And so we're not going to be mistaken, because I've heard a lot of people think that the first word of this, it means something else, but it's not. But the first one, not in particular order, is Ghost Story. I don't know if anyone recognizes it.
That's the one with Patrick Swayze, right?
No, it's not.
Oh.
If we're going to be a little sarcastic,
because I found that terrifying. Something about clay molding keeps me up at night.
That's because Scott was terrible in ceramics, and all of his bowls got misshapen and deformed, and then it made him, feel about his own body. It ruined his body image. I think
I could never perfect the ashtray. Is what it was. That's what really just ruined my childhood for me.
Do they even exist anymore? Ashtrays?
I brought it home. My father said he was disappointed in me and threw it at the wall and smashed it. But that's another story for another day.
I think what was scary about Ghost was you had a ghost that was on a subway we last saw him probably previously in Fast Times at Ridgemont High. So, he played the science teacher. But
yes,
Ghost but Ghost Story, it starred Fred Astaire, Melvin Douglas, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., and John Houseman, who they're old men, obviously, when they played the role, but they
white men?
Old white men, yes, exactly.
Over 65?
Oh, they were over 65, yes.
Oh, Jesus. There's a statistical study that says old men over 65 that are white, probably white supremacists.
No, that's just fake news. You're so stupid. I do see the movie's rated R, which is, I'm a little
for
surprised.
Racism, because it's all white
it's
men.
not R for racism.
No, it's not. But it also stars Alice Creech, who played the Borg Queen, if everyone remembers, if anyone's a Star Trek fan.
Yes,
but
the Borg Queen.
These 4 men have a secret from when they were young studs, in the flashback, and they have a horrible secret that they're holding back, and the consequences of that secret. It's go ahead. It's based on a book.
Is it a sex secret?
Well, yes.
Oh my God, it is.
It was. Well, the movie was in 1981.
1981.
Yes. Peter Straub was the writer. So Peter Straub, obviously in the same vein of Stephen King. So it was not set in Halloween, but it's terrifying. It doesn't have to be all about slasher. Doesn't have to be everything about going to a hotel and never coming out. It plays mind games with you in that respect. And,
not many people seem to like it, though. Have you looked up the Rotten Tomatoes on it and to see the audience scores and everything?
The same way that people do not like Halloween 3: Season of the Witch in the beginning.
No.
Everyone did not like that film, but it was because it did not have Michael. But it has an appreciation because it has the historical point of Halloween. What is Halloween all about? And guess what? Last Halloween. But again, everyone has their own opinion.
And you're saying, and the horror aspect of this is it's a psychological thriller that just sticks with you and just really like makes you think.
Well, it's not that it makes you think. It just the actions have consequences even when you're over 65. Some things come back to bite you. How about that?
Like too much Viagra.
Oh, I don't want to even picture that, especially with John Houseman.
Oh my God, he was housing something big.
Well, that's it didn't get reviewed real well, but I would say that's all garbage anyway. A lot of times, cult classics never get reviewed well, so you should expect them to do bad. Yet somehow they still stick in the subconscious of film snobs, right? Like us.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's the first one. Why don't we go to your next one?
Okay, next one is a film starring. You might remember this film. Does anybody remember this film? Videodrome.
Yes.
Yeah. I used to rent DVDs from there.
You used to go to the Videodrome
and rented DVDs. It was ahead of its time, actually. It was impressive.
Videodrome. I met David Cronenberg at a long time ago. I took a film class and I met him at the Museum of Film and TV in Manhattan, and he was discussing about Videodrome. To say that it's this is what you call just a psychological thriller. It's a horror film. It's something that will make you just think, in the same vein as They Live in many ways. Where They Live had glasses. You put your glasses on, and guess what? And you get to see who you've been friends with. Videodrome is it just plays with your mind. It really said it's.
They Live is
without.
Right?
What's that? Sorry,
that's a John Carpenter.
They Live is John Carpenter. Yes.
Yeah, and this is so Cronenberg's famous for body horror. I think I've seen this one time, and I always get it confused with Scanners for some reason.
Well, yeah, Scanners, where Scanners was dealing with not body, but just brains. David Cronenberg also always had it where he always dealt with, like you said, the body. I think the only exception was he did Rapid at one point, which was dealing with the whole body, not the body, but just another like Dawn of the Dead or just Contagion, that sort of movie.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't Cronenberg do The Fly?
Yes, he did.
Yeah,
yes, he did.
That's good. That's considered horror, I think, right?
Yeah, it's horror. David Cronenberg was really the pioneer who created the body horror genre of horror. He was one of the first ones to really go down and exploit that level of special effects to blow body parts of, just show absolutely what the most horrific things you could think of. He's a truly demented but amazing director. Super influential.
Well, James Woods and Deborah Harry. Deborah Harry's in it, and everyone remembers that. If anyone was a fan of Blondie, they flocked to see this movie because she was in it. But James Woods was excellent. Unfortunately, he was an unfortunate sap. But you're saying about body horror. I never heard it in that way, in that vein. But
they actually made a turn. Like it's been kind of like I'm gonna say pop culture reference because Rick and Morty talks about Cronenberging people. If you're familiar with Rick and Morty, they have a whole episode of where they Cronenberged everybody and totally messed up. Like their body features are all messed up, and they actually have a Cronenberg Morty and a Cronenberg Rick. So it's kind of like seeped back into the culture because he hasn't done anything in a while, and he was really famous in the '80s for doing his those movies, and so he's kind of crept back in because he's known for inventing that whole genre of body horror.
Oh my God, he did Jason X? What?
No,
he might have produced it. I don't think he directed it.
He didn't direct it.
Oh, okay. I just saw his lowest rated film on Rotten Tomatoes said Jason X. I was like, holy.
Produced it. He got paid for it, but I don't think he actually did anything on it.
Okay.
Nobody did anything on that movie.
But it is amazing that you said that, for example, that a lot of horror films are not. It's everyone's personal opinion. It's not. It doesn't have to be what it's. It doesn't have to be the best. It doesn't have to be a blockbuster. And a lot of people think that it has to be that way. But the other day, I was just watching One Dark Night, which I can't even find out how much money it actually made. But I was looking for that film for a very long time. I knew it had dealt with the mausoleum. I knew it had dealt with Adam West. Saw it back when it was in the movie theater. But it was not the best film. But it was back when I first saw it. Okay, it gave me a little chill up the down the spine. Today I laugh. That's all, but I liked it.
So, what about Videodrome sticks with you? What made it stand out enough to add it to your list?
One of the things that scared me was just that the gun that was basically taking out of the stomach. There's a scene. Again, it's one of the films I want to watch. I have my rest of the my movies that I'm going to be watching, but it's taking this plastic. It looks like a plastic gun, like body horror, and you're taking it out of your stomach, and he was pointing it to his head. It was like an extension of his own body. It was a freaking out. It's just it reminds you of all the, like you said, fake news you're talking about, and how we're watching the media. Is it real? Is it not real? It's a reflection of today's times when you think about it.
It is amazing. There seems to be some level of paranoia from the 80s that is creeping back into today, that you see stuff where you're like, this is weird because it's kind of reflecting today. So that's why I think it's good to go back to the horror genre, because it always makes you realize, no matter what era. I think there was what was the other show? Levels of Geek was they were debating like how scary is the original Fly, right? If you watch the original Fly, most people think it's kind of hokey. It's from like the 60s, I think.
Was it 58? Was it 58? I think.
Yeah,
it was 50,
and who's Vincent Price is the star, and a lot of people are like, Vincent Price is kind of hokey. But if you just think of the psychological ramifications of that movie back then, even so I think horror is this really cool genre where you can go back, where comedy doesn't really necessarily stand up. You watch a comedy movie from 5 years ago and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they got away with that kind of stuff, versus horror, which I think stands on some level the test of time, because horror, people are always scared. There's always the psychological ramifications of what people say.
It goes with the times. If you think about Eli Roth, was it Eli Roth who did a special and talking about different horror genres during the whole different decades. But think about this, is that you had 13 Ghosts, right? That was remade in 2001. The original 13 Ghosts was not like the remake, how they made it scary was that they added these glasses, not 3D glasses, but they had these glasses that people put on, and you were able to see the ghost only when you had those glasses on. And I was looking for that DVD for a long time. I finally found it. It's
Tony Shalhoub, right? Stars in that one.
he did the remake. He did the
Yeah,
he did
in the remake in the 2000
right. But
version.
13 Ghosts, the original, is directed by
1960.
I'm trying to remember the director, but he directed a lot of again
William Castle.
Thank you very much, William Castle. He directed a lot of these, not horror, but it just during that time. I don't know if they called it horror, because again, you look at the Blob. The original Blob was Steve McQueen. It was a thriller, scary for the people that watched it at that time. When it was remade in '87, people looked at it a little bit differently. You know, they wanted more action and they wanted more. They want more Blob. I know.
Yeah, well, that's a good one too. Where that's like a paranoia, kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, like a paranoia film. When it gets remade,
right.
I mean, the remakes are obviously there's better special effects, but if you watch the original with Steve McQueen, I mean, his acting just shines through a movie that most people by today's standards would call a schlocky horror movie. But I think it really holds up. And then the '87 one, I think, is just so awesome. They can't even do movies like that. I think that's one thing that we're missing too is the slide away from practical effects to all this like CGI schlocky. Like it's gotten almost back to where it was with like the original House on Haunting Hill with like, you know, we're just supposed to be scared of a skeleton hanging on a thread sliding up and down a stairwell or whatever. And now you have CGI monsters that are just as not scary as a skeleton hanging up. And I'm like, what happened to like real dread and real like trying to be scary?
Or clucking.
The writing sufferings too is because they're relying way too much on the special effects, the CGI, and the writers don't do their job as much because they're thinking, oh, we can make the monster scary that when it jumps, it's going to scare people. And that's what brought in this new gore thing with what's the
torture porn
with no like Saw the Saw movies.
Torture porn.
It's all torture porn and gore movies.
Torture porn.
Where these aren't horror anymore. This is just gross out. How disgusted can you be?
Well, Saw is a good movie. I don't know if the
first one was good.
Yeah,
the first one was great.
All the other iterations of it were a little much, and then Eli Roth.
Roth blows.
Yeah, he's kind of not. I've yet to see him do a good movie. Even what's that? The Cabin in the Woods is or not? He didn't do that one. He did.
No.
What's the stupid one with the kids all contract that same disease?
Teeth.
Not teeth.
Cabin Fever? No, he didn't do
Cabin Fever. Yeah, Cabin Fever. He did that.
He directed it?
Yeah, he directed Cabin Fever. Mm-hmm.
Lowest rated movie, Cabin Fever.
Yeah.
2016.
In 2000. It's a 0%?
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a bad movie, but it's not that bad.
Well, the fact is, like you said about storyline and CGI, look at, like I said, going back to Psycho, the original Psycho, you know, a lot of people were, you know, it was a thriller, it was a horror. Hitchcock got it right. And when they made Psycho 2, you know, a lot of people said, how can you do this? You just can't make a sequel based on this original film like that. And somehow they managed to do this, you know, and they just had to get the right person to write it, right person to direct it. And it did make a lot of money, you know, when you think about it. It just, I don't know if anyone has an opinion on that, but I did like Psycho 2.
No, Psycho 2 is good. They tried to take it in a different direction, and I think it was good. What the hell was that, Scott?
Is that a dog shit itself?
I don't know. Scott, his sound effects. Why don't we go to your next one? We talked a ton about... we
definitely talked.
We went all over the place.
Video drones.
No, video drone. And we want to shout out to Sam Jr. Nice to see you, Sam Jr. Are you dressed up for this special occasion? We want to see your costume.
Send nudes, Sam.
Send nudes. We've been waiting for them nudes for a long time.
Sam Jr. is wearing his noob costume at home.
So I am going to change one of them right now, and this is the one I'm going to change because I forgot about it, and I said, nah, this has to be a good Halloween.
It's so hard, right? You just like you hear one, and you're like, when you mentioned the Blob, I was like, oh my god, the Blob is so good. And
but it also it didn't do well in the theater. That's the thing.
Yeah,
it didn't do well in the theater. But again, it didn't have to be. You have to remember is that we are right now in an age where there's blockbusters. Every film, if it makes a blockbuster, it's going to have a sequel. They decide at the end of the weekend they're going to have a sequel.
Yeah.
So it's not. It just, you think about that. So this next film, a lot of people loved it. But it was when you watch it initially, you're saying it's great and back in the theater. But now compared to the CGI that's out now, not that much. Of course, I am talking about the original, and it comes up here.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, that's terrifying.
That is like one of the Godfather, and that to me is one of the Godfather of horror movies. It's so controversial, yet like it's not overlooked because people give Sam Raimi a ton of credit on that one. But holy cow, what a ride that movie is!
Yeah,
what a ride.
What's wrong with it?
You've never heard of like?
No,
some of
I saw the remake.
Yeah, you saw. You're
No.
The remake. The remake was just
Okay.
not. It was okay. It just wasn't the Evil Dead. Like you can't capture.
I've never seen the original because it's from like the 1400s.
It's amazing, and it still holds up today. I mean, there's a little bit of wonky.
I like Bruce Campbell in Burn Notice. That's about it.
You're so stupid. Tell us why you love the Evil
No,
Dead.
What I love about Evil Dead, it's simple. It scared. It just had a small cast, and
Who they tortured.
What's that? Sorry,
They tortured
I
the
think
cast.
Bruce Campbell I think Bruce Campbell was the one that was being tortured most of all.
Well,
But,
from what I understand, they lived out by that shack, and they were like the whole time. It was cold, it was rainy. They really struggled with the shoot. Half the props didn't work right. They had to reshoot a bunch of things. I've watched a ton of documentaries about the Evil Dead, so because I'm a big Sam Raimi fan. Although,
So you like Spider-Man, I'm sure.
I do, except he hates Spider-Man 3, so I also hate Spider-Man 3. Although he's coming on to do Doctor Strange 2, which is crazy. But I liked Sam Raimi even through the Evil Dead before he even I used to watch Hercules and Xena and like all those shows too. Like I've always kind of followed his career.
Well, didn't Sam Raimi do also Darkman? He did Darkman.
He did, which is actually another really good movie. It was one of those before its time.
Well, again, I think what Sam Raimi, you asked me what I like about the film, is that he did the same thing in Darkman, where he used certain angles to get close up. To better illustration is that people shoot straight forward, but he did it on an angle and to get people close. I don't know if you've been watching. I watched it about a year ago, Evil Dead, but I seem to remember that he did the same thing with Darkman, but he just got very close. He started from far away and then all the way close.
He did a lot of crazy things, from dolly, sliding in dollies and like all sorts of any crazy thing he could do. Those camera shots of the speeded up
going through the woods. I think that was one of the first times they started using that effect, when you had that camera shot going through the woods.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they? I think
Precisely.
He even coined a term. Here's a bit of trivia. Sam Raimi coined the term "fake Shemp." Do you know why they call it a fake Shemp?
Nope.
So
Go ahead.
when they had to have, you know how he has brothers who star in, they're in everything that he does. He would use the brothers as stand-ins, and I don't know if one of the characters' name was Shemp, but he used one of his brothers to be a stand-in when they were turned into the undead people. So the actors wouldn't have to stand there for the whole time. So he would use his brother, and they called him he was the fake Shemp. So that's where they came up with the term for a stand-in in makeup, for someone to sit there in makeup while the real actors got to relax. So,
I could use one of them.
Interesting. I have to take a look at. But talk about documentaries. There was a.
Go ahead. I was just going to say that
there's a documentary on the women.
Oh, the women of Evil Dead.
Yes. And again, it's their viewpoint of the Evil Dead, because a lot of people, everyone's concentrating on Bruce Campbell, but listen, they had a big part of it. They were just trying to kill him.
Well, that's the controversy. Is that the tree rape
Go ahead.
scene? The tree rape scene.
Well, the what now?
Okay.
That's the one that almost got them pulled. They almost weren't able to release the film for that particular scene.
Like you raped a tree or what? I don't understand.
Vice versa.
The tree
ends up like
raping Bruce Campbell.
No, not Bruce Campbell.
Bruce Campbell.
One of the females in the cast.
Oh,
I forget his. It's not his sister. I don't remember which character it is because there's only 4 people in the movie.
Was it like an oak tree, or how thick was it?
Like it was the thickest tree you ever seen.
Oh my god! Did she walk after her? Or?
She absolutely got turned. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Describe it slowly for me.
You saw the remake. The same thing virtually happened in the remake.
It wasn't. I might have paused it at that.
Yeah,
scene.
I went to look for some images to bring up on the screen there, and I can't bring these images.
They won't show them. They won't show them.
I can't. It will get pulled from YouTube. I can't.
Well, what's funny? It's not even that graphic. It's more about like
the
showing.
Angle.
Yeah, like they're not being graphic about it. It's really your mind is telling you this. Your mind is filling in the blanks in that scene as to like what's really happening to this girl. They don't show anything graphic. I don't think there's any nudity or anything like that. Just
I'm finding an upskirt shot here.
They don't but they don't like show you. It's not like
actual
hentai.
Penetration. Yeah,
it's not hentai. You know
like
what I'm saying?
I've seen.
I'm
enough,
gonna have to watch that. I'm gonna have to watch that scene again.
Yeah, I've seen enough. I've seen enough octopus porn to know where this is going.
You have to be careful. It does get edited out of some versions that you collect because I am one of those weirdos who collects old ass movies that haven't been transferred to DVDs yet or things like that, like really old bad horror movies. And I've been collecting them for years. And sometimes you don't get the right version of the movie, so you have to just be careful of that.
I'm sure if you look it up on Pornhub, you'll get the proper version.
But it's very true. That's one of the things that a lot of collectors also are having a hard time is that it seems that what you watch in the movie theater might be different on a DVD, or it was originally on VHS and DVD and then Blu-ray. They take maybe a snippet here, take a snippet out there. It's something that it doesn't give that original tone to it. But
well, I think Star Wars, there is an original cut that has only been released in the theaters that no one's ever actually they've never actually put to tape or DVD. It's like the holy grail of collectors trying to find that. And one weird thing about me, like I saw if you've ever watched Aliens, somehow, some way, yes. I saw the director's cut in the theaters. I don't know how, but somehow I saw the director's cut, and I was chasing it for like a good 15 years trying to get a copy of it. I actually had to go to like a horror con to get a copy of it.
That's where I got my original one. It was on VHS. I paid a bunch of money for it, I remember.
Yeah, I paid a big chunk of money to get that. I still have it. So yeah, it's one of those things where and then technology evolves and they're like, here's the director's cut for you. Because I used to describe these like really tense scenes because Aliens is one of my favorite movies to people. And they'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about. A machine gun scene where they're counting down bullets and like, they explain the backstory. Like, yeah. So it's just fascinating. You have to make sure you get the right cut or you're going to get the wrong one and you're going to be sorely disappointed.
There is a website that I found that it tells you what version is the best version to get on DVD or Blu-ray. And some people don't listen to it. They get all the versions. They double dip, as they say.
Yeah.
But we know all about those people, myself included. But I'm a true believer. You can't cut and splice. You have to enjoy the movie as it is. That's if you don't enjoy it, why are you watching it?
What are your thoughts on Evil Dead 2, considering it's like a funnier remake of the original?
It was a remake. It was a remake. I think it was essentially the same story. I haven't watched it in years.
He had
the reason why I watched Evil Dead was because I had time.
Raimi said he wanted to redo it because he wanted to have a real budget to actually do the movie, because essentially the original Evil Dead was like a college project for him, and the real movie he wanted to make was Evil Dead 2 because he actually had a budget to do it at that point. So they went back and reproduced. It's like the same movie, but then he put that weird sense of humor that he has into it.
And a different ending.
Yeah, well, then it goes to the beautiful Evil Dead 3, which is probably the most. I guess it's like the most influential comedy horror movie. I can't think of anything other than maybe that Peter Jackson movie that he did. The first
Hobbit?
movie he did. No, not The Hobbit.
Not The Hobbit.
No, he did a really great splatter horror movie, which escapes me right now. If some dummy would look it up.
I'll fucking look it up.
Have you ever seen that movie? Sam Raimi, Peter Jackson's first movie that he ever made? Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings?
No, I know Peter Jackson from Lord of the Rings. Yeah. Didn't he do The Frighteners also?
He did do The Frighteners, but one of his best movies he ever made, it has a different name in Australia than it does in the U.S. You didn't just go to IMDb or something?
I did not.
You are so
I
stupid.
just Googled Peter Jackson horror.
Peter Jackson horror movie. I think I want to say it's bad taste, but it's not. It's called something else in the U.S. It's going to drive me nuts until dummy here finds it. Yeah, he did a really amazing splatter horror movie that everyone should see. I highly recommend it.
It's going to be really stupid once I find this.
No, it's not. It's a great movie.
Yeah, just fun fact. He used to be so fat.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Let's go back.
Let's go back.
He directed it, correct?
He directed it.
All right. King Kong?
Bruh. No, it's not King Kong.
The Frighteners? Oh, it is Dead Alive.
So stupid. Dead Alive.
He's an idiot.
Meet the Furbies?
It's Dead Alive. If you ever get a chance to catch that, it is crazy, awesome splatter horror. Just it's a great movie. Dead Alive, Peter Jackson. What year was that made?
I'll definitely
92.
92. So it's still awesome. And it's just amazing how many horror directors end up being really great directors later in their career, like taking on like these big projects that end up, winning awards and things. I always find that fascinating.
Well, take a look at one of the most recent ones. He did a lot of horror films, and he won an Oscar. Was it 2 years ago? Was it last year? No, Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo del Toro
for Lady in the Water.
Toro, right? What's that? Lady?
It's impossible.
Oh wait, not Lady in the Water.
Stupid.
Water Lady. What the fuck was the movie? It was like fucking a mermaid, right?
Yeah. He redid. Well, he got sued for that too. He redid. It's essentially Splash meets Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Exactly. Yeah, but
The Color of Water or something like that, or The Shape of Water.
The color purple.
No, I'm pretty sure it's The Shape of Water.
The Color of Money.
It's not any of those things. It's The Shape of Water. You
Shape
crazy
of water.
people.
Shape of Water.
Right?
The Shape of Water.
Yes, and she
Correct,
bangs a
yes.
merman. Yes, that is what happens.
It was Moonlight, wasn't it?
It was not Moonlight.
About the priests?
No. Moonlight was not about priests either. Jesus.
It wasn't? What was
Dude,
the priest?
Oh, Lord.
That was Spotlight.
And it's not Moonstruck either.
Okay.
You are the worst movie person ever. Have you watched anything? This dude owns the biggest DVD collection I've ever seen.
It's not that big.
It's pretty big.
It's a little big.
Well, it's
slightly above average.
It's He's just such a. But he doesn't remember. He doesn't retain anything.
Anything past like 2000, I just don't watch. If it's not in Blu-ray, it's not for me.
You have to watch some. There's some good old horror movies.
Nope.
There's just some good movies.
No thanks.
Yeah, if it's
Halloween 1, I'll watch that. That's about it. Or 2, not 3.
He'll watch every
4,
Halloween but 3,
5,
6,
and 7. H2O. Resurrection.
Those are the only horror movies he likes. It's just Halloween
And the Scream series.
Oh, and he
fucking love that shit.
Scream. Oh, he's so stupid.
Scream really brought everything
back.
Think about it. Scream also brought the horror back.
Yeah, it is funny. Horror was dead. It was a dead genre. Totally a dead genre. And then Scream brought it back.
Because it's amazing. And slashers are the best type of horror movie.
Wrong.
Yes.
Can we put Noob Noob in the corner?
No,
we're going to put you in the corner.
I think
what's the next movie?
Corner. So next movie when I was looking at this list, I said, it could be this one, it could be that one. These you're going to laugh your head off when I talk about this. Is that the movie I'm going to pick is one of these three films? Obviously, it was the first of the trilogy. And
If you
it's
say The
called
Hobbit, you better shut the fuck up.
Shaun of the Dead. No.
Oh, Shaun of the Dead's
Shaun of the Dead.
It's fantastic. That movie's amazing.
Right. But I want to tie that in with Night of the Living Dead, obviously, and Dawn of the Dead, because you have to have some zombies somewhere along the line. I think Shaun of the Dead was brilliant the way it was written. It made it funny. It made it funny at the same time. It just it gave a little levity to whatever goes on. So that's a movie that I could just pop in anytime. It doesn't have to be Halloween. It could be a nice summer day. It could be if I want to watch football on a day, like or as they say, they go to the pub, watch Shaun of the Dead.
It does
But-
stand.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
What?
Yes, actual
Shia LaBeouf has nothing to
He
do
was
with
not
Shaun
in
of the
that.
Dead.
He was,
and it's
he's
not about cannibals,
eating people.
Oh,
but he's not cannibal.
Ah, see.
Well, there's no cannibals in this because they're
Yes.
dead. When you're dead, it's just a zombie.
No, but you have zombies that play on a PlayStation. How about that? They'll play.
I think
Yes,
actually, and isn't Shaun of the Dead? Shaun of the Dead is the movie that put Simon Pegg and Nick Frost pretty much on the map. Correct? There wasn't anything they were known for.
It put them on a map, and then people started looking at him. What did he do beforehand? They did something called Spaced, I think it was called. But that essentially put them on a map.
Well,
It
put
was- it
Edgar
was-
Wright on the map, who's now like big time director who gets to do whatever he wants without
he's not that good of a director.
well, I don't know. Do you love Baby Driver?
It's all right.
Okay, well,
It's
that
good.
makes you.
I don't
don't know.
dislike it.
I don't hate it. I don't hate him as a director. I just think he's overrated. He's not bad. I just think he doesn't. He's not I don't know. He gets a little more. Some directors need to be drawn. Like you can't. He's not a. You can't just let him do whatever he wants because then he'll go off into space and do something weird.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I
That's my
haven't.
opinion.
I haven't watched Baby Driver yet, so. But
I'm just not a big Edgar Wright guy. Like he gets so much like, how like a lot of directors get their own free will, kind of like
Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, like Nolan can do whatever he wants. Is he no one's gonna stop him. No one's gonna tell that guy no. Edgar Wright is kind of gaining that, but he's also a little bit of a prima donna. Like he whines about things, and it's what bothers me. I'm kind of a director person. If you haven't noticed, I'm a bigger fan of directors than actors.
At least he thinks he is. If you ever worked with him, he likes to think he's the director.
I
But
am.
if you look at,
I'm
but, if
the
you, but, if,
director.
but if you look at directors, every director had their start. Look at Steven Spielberg in the beginning. He had a rough. Until he got to Jaws, he really was. He did Duel beforehand. It was, but Steven Spielberg, who that's what they did.
I thought his best work was Sharknado.
He did not do Sharknado.
He did not.
No, that's Ian Zierling's best role. Okay. But again, it was very hard. Like I said, these are not top 5. It doesn't have to be 5. They don't want to be 4, 3, 2, and especially number 1. But listen, these are the ones that I could watch over and over again. Obviously,
Well, I think
including Ghost Story.
I think you did mention one, and you're saving the best for last. Because what was your last one? A slasher? Another slasher?
Oh yes, come on. We have to. It was already mentioned, but not just by me. But we have to go back to.
There it is. Oh, that's the same one I have. Oh my God, we should touch nipples later.
Please no.
Absolutely not. That is no. We do not want that.
No,
Oh,
but
jeez.
but it Halloween. I remember watching that film for the first time when I was what? God, I was 11 years old. But that's also a psychological thriller. When you think about it, it's horror, but it was psychological because, again, before it only started in Halloween 2, or if you look at Friday 13th Part 2, when it started being slasher. You really didn't see that much. These movies were meant to be that way. They meant to give you some suspense full. Who's doing the heavy breathing now? Noob.
No.
No, that's
No,
that's
it's
Scott. with
actually
the
coming
effects. That's coming through the
Yeah.
sound effects. When he's
That's part of the song. I didn't know that was part of the song I had on here.
Yeah.
Well-
this is the best Halloween theme, like horror
How do
theme of all
you
time.
not like all of John Carpenter's movies? If you love Halloween so much, how are you not?
I do like John Carpenter's
You
movies.
don't? Can you name two other? If you name Halloween movies, I'll punch you in the face.
The Thing
Have you ever seen The Thing?
and The Thing remake.
No, you did. You never watched it. It's not a remake either.
Yeah, it is. It's a prequel.
Did you see The Thing?
I saw a thing. Yeah.
Did you see the thing? You didn't see the thing.
Did you?
I
I
did.
saw the thing.
Kurt Russell.
Escape from New York.
You didn't see
Yeah.
the thing.
I don't
Did
know.
you
John Carpenter is one of those like singular directors who just. That guy also writes the musical scores. I mean,
That's what I was
he's
about to say. I was
Some
about to
kind
say
of
the same thing.
genius.
He did. I actually met him last year.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
The composer, fantastic. He actually, maybe I'll post it later, but he had the vinyls and he did these special vinyls and he signed it for me with a musical signal. It's fantastic. He did the musical theme in the back using musical notes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right, it's fantastic. Yeah. So, and he did it for. I bought one of them. I could have bought more, but I didn't want to be that broke. But I did it for one of my favorite, which is They Live. So, it was.
Which has the greatest fight scene ever recorded, known to man. End of story.
8 minutes of pure genius.
The guy? It's interesting. I guess if I think about it, he does have like this musical mind where he attacks the films the same way I think a composer would attack music, where he's like, he has a point to what he's trying to do. It's not just like meandering. It's like, I very much want to hit these notes, right?
Mhm.
He's one of my favorite directors. And even the movies that people don't like,
Escape from LA.
Dude, that one is. First of all, the soundtrack is amazing. It's so schlocky. It is
Beautiful. Schlocky. It's schlocky, but a lot of people do not like it. But listen, I was waiting for a sequel for the longest time. I remember when Escape from New York first came out, and I said I have to do Escape from LA. All of a sudden, came out. It is schlocky, but you're right about the notes. Take a look at the notes of if you listen to Escape from New York very carefully. That's a perfect example of how it was brilliant the way the music with the acting, everything fell into place with that.
And of course,
That first one's schlocky too.
we are looking forward to the next one in the series, Escape from Mars.
There already was one. That's the one that I was going to talk about. That was the bomb. What something of Mars? God, what's the name
Ghost
of that
of
one?
Mars.
Is it? Yeah,
John
Ghost of
Carter
Mars,
from
right?
Mars.
I think that one's underrated. I don't know. I don't know why that one failed so much. It's hard to say, but it's not as memorable as some of the other ones. But Ghost of Mars was like that's his big bomb, the one that almost derailed his career in my mind. Have you ever seen that one, Ghost of Mars?
Is that John Carpenter?
Everyone has
Yeah,
their
John
opinion.
Carpenter.
Like I
No,
said,
I do not.
I have John Carpenter, yeah,
I've seen Halloween.
but he also did a Dracula film.
Was that one? Is that one?
He
With
also
James
did Dracula.
Woods?
Dracula 2000 with Tom Cruise.
That's James Woods also. Yeah, Dracula. Was it called Dracula? No.
No. It's called. That one's really good. That's actually one of the best vampire movies I think ever made. Daybreak? No, not Daybreakers. What the
Daybreakers?
fuck is that?
30
called?
Days a Night.
Nope. Just look up John Carpenter.
Oh
Stupid.
my god.
I think Ghost of Mars. The biggest
But-
problem was
but
the
I will take-
dialogue back and forth between the characters. It was very poorly written. It was so much that I was actually wrong about Ghost of Mars when you go back to think.
I think
about
also.
it. Are we?
I think the other problem with Ghost of Mars, it also came out around the same time. What's that?
Yep.
Go ahead.
We got you.
Can you hear me? Oh.
Yep.
I said the same. I think the only problem with Ghost of Mars was it came around the same time as other the Mars stories. I think it was around the same time, but didn't it come out within a year or two? There was several Mars.
Oh
movies.
yeah, there was the one with Val Kilmer, Red Planet, I think it was called.
Right.
Is it
Correct,
called
yes.
Vampires?
Vampires.
1998 is called Vampires. Look at that one. Is that the one with James Woods?
Right.
Prince of Darkness is also extraordinarily underrated.
I can't look that
Yeah,
up.
James Woods.
Yeah, Vampires is the one from 1998 with James Woods. Prince of Darkness.
I'll give you a good movie. Right,
that one is very, very underrated. That one, people need to go look back at it again.
What's the good movie you're going to say?
Prince of Darkness, Big Trouble in Little China. I mean,
I've been looking.
Could go forever. Go ahead.
I've been looking for this one movie for the longest time. It's only available on DVD, and I cannot find it anywhere. It's called Near Dark. Came out in what, 87? I think it was 88.
Who is it?
You want
directed
something
by?
that will just scare the living crap.
It's like
out of you.
87.
Oh, Adrian Pastor. Small town's farmer's son reluctantly joins the traveling group of vampires.
What do you like
look
about
at
that
the
movie?
cast?
Okay.
That's what you have to look at.
Bill Paxton.
Yeah, you have the
Lance
cast from
Henriksen.
Aliens. You have some of the people from Aliens. Yes. I haven't seen that film in ages, but I just, from what I recall, from what I remember, it's like one of those films that just, it scared you. It just, again, it doesn't have to be a slasher film. It doesn't have to be totally exploitive. It just things that just mess with your head. That's all.
I think the one thing that I remember about going back to Halloween is the perspective from Michael Myers of, like, you said you were 11 when you saw it. I have no idea how old I was when I saw it. But like that whole part where you're looking through his mask and you're seeing his sister and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be seeing this. And you're like, he really created like that atmosphere of like twisting people's minds. Like, oh, what am I seeing here? I shouldn't be watching this. Like, oh my God, I'm intruding. Like, you know, like it just created this crazy atmosphere and developed a character without even, you know, the character speaking or having any lines or anything like that, you know?
The sister had really nice boobs too.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. Inputting into the conversation all the time. Just bringing up our quality all the time with every comment that he makes.
What an insightful comment you had there.
Well, didn't Rob Zombie also?
He's an idiot.
Also, he brought that. Well, that's beside the point. But he was also trying to put more into that backstory of my.
Do you like Rob Zombie remakes of those?
Of Michael?
Those are extremely controversial. People do not like
The
them.
second one was horrible.
Yes.
With the horse,
first one,
isn't there a horse in
His
it?
wife in it. He has a propensity. He has to have his wife in there. I guess she doesn't get blowjobs if she's not in his movies. I don't know what the deal is, but his hooker wife is in every movie.
But the first one I liked about it is just the beginning part. It gave more of a backstory of Michael. That's all. Just I think that was.
I thought it was more violent too.
Was it needed?
More aggressive.
Very aggressive. But,
Do you like
because
Rob
if you
Zombie
remember,
as a horror director?
not particularly. I just I watched it because obviously it was part of the horror of part of the Halloween box set.
It's part of the box set.
But that's part of the box set. I got to watch it. The same way I had to watch that last film, the last one before that, which was just atrocious. But like I said, I do like 3. A lot of people like 1 is a classic. 3, in my opinion, was a different kind of movie. It didn't have Michael, but it. I remember when I saw that for the first time. That's all.
Isn't in the second one Michael wearing a bag over his head or something stupid like that the whole time?
No,
anyway?
it's in the hospital. Second one's the hospital.
Second one's a hospital.
It's in the hospital.
Jason's wearing that bag, sort of a bag.
Jason's not even the killer in the first one. Spoiler to everybody. What? Jason's not even a real thing until the
second one. I said.
Stupid.
Did you like the 2018 Halloween? It's like a reboot / sequel.
Not Rob Zombie?
Don't shoot.
Oh, that's the one with.
Don't shoot me. I have not seen it yet.
What the fuck?
How dare you? I haven't seen it either.
I know. I know.
Brilliant.
Nah. Who directed it?
David Michael Green or something
Some
like that.
dude. Some dude.
And he wrote it with Danny McBride.
What?
Yeah.
Danny McBride. I don't know. Forget that.
It's really good. Hold on, let's see.
Well, apparently it's doing. They're going to do 2 more. You know,
Jason Kills, right?
They
That got
capitalize
delayed by
Halloween Kills.
Oh, Halloween
Jason Kills.
Fucking.
Halloween
They're
Kills.
all the same to me. I hate all of them. They're all useless. I hate slasher movies. They're just not for me.
They're the best.
No.
But that's what I said beforehand. In today's genre, in today's world, is that if it makes enough money in the first weekend, they're automatically going to make a sequel. It's a fact. You know,
David Gordon Green is the director.
Some dude you
I
didn't
thought you
know.
meant David Allen Greer. David Allen Greer.
The famous comedian.
Writer, Jeff Fradley, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green. So Danny McBride helped write it.
The best bit of trivia, which I guess everybody knows about Michael Myers. Let's see if Noob knows it.
It's a fucking Star Trek mask.
But who?
The Shatner. Kirk. Captain Kirk. Spock.
Okay, good enough. No, not
Scotty.
Not Scotty.
Scotty Pippen.
Nope.
Not Scotty Pippen.
You should have stopped while you were ahead.
Okay.
Still one of the greatest bits of trivia that everybody seems to know at this point.
So I'll give you a bit of trivia also. Who played Michael? Who played Michael in the first movie?
Whoopi Goldberg.
No.
She is scary as fuck.
Yeah. You just had to recycle a joke.
Brought it right back around a ghost, didn't you?
Wow.
You had to just do it.
I
So
did.
who played him? Since this dummy doesn't know.
Well, if you take a look at, you remember the movie The Last Starfighter?
Yes, I love that movie. That's a great movie.
Yes. Okay. The person that directed it also played Michael in the first movie.
Really? That is a great
Yes.
piece of trivia. He directed The Last Starfighter. Underrated
Right, but
movie.
Hold on. But wait, there's more.
Oh.
In Halloween 2, you had Lance Guest. He was in the movie, right? He also appeared in The Last Starfighter. And in Halloween 3.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And in Halloween 3, the antagonist also appeared in Last Starfighter. So you have three different people that eventually reunited in Last Starfighter. I know it's so, again, useless trivia up here.
I think that's the first movie to actually use CGI. And there's a whole thing about
Tron was, I think.
computers.
I think wasn't Tron
Tron was the first
partial
movie to move
CGI?
CGI.
I don't know. I would double check that because I'm pretty sure Last Starfighter, there's something to do with some sort of innovation that the Last Starfighter did with computer graphics that was never
Agreed.
done before.
Agreed, but I think
I don't know what it is,
Tron, I
but
think
I know
used
there's Maybe it was the only
Yep, I saw that picture before. Yep, Nick Castle.
Nick Castle. It's not the guy who directed that first movie that you were talking about, right? Wasn't that a Castle production?
William Castle?
Ghost Story. Oh, William Castle. Non-related to William Castle.
William
the
Castle.
director Of
No.
Ghost Story.
Nick Castle's in the new one, too.
As what?
I don't know. It says The Shape.
He's the shape?
I think
He's the shape.
whatever that is.
Maybe he's the shape of Michael? I don't know.
The Shape of Water. I don't
He's
know.
the shape of water. We're
Yeah.
tying things together here. It's brilliant. Oh,
The shape of William Shatner's face.
yes. So I think did we go through your 5 movies? Yeah, I think
We did. We hit all 5. The best one, obviously,
we did.
being Halloween, because slashers are the best.
Not at all. Do you even like any of the old, like the whole the 80s slasher movement? Did you watch any of those other movies?
Yeah, Halloween. Halloween 2.
So stupid.
Halloween
3.
was in the first of all, Halloween was in the 70s. That's when
Don't
it
you
first
correct
came
me.
out.
This is our show here. Halloween,
And Friday the 13th was in the 70s also.
Halloween 5.
It was 79, 80.
Halloween 6.
Oh, ridiculous. Well, before you play us off there, Scott, like a big jackass, our friend Mark has to tell us, first of all, we will. I had a great conversation. This idiot is just an idiot, but I can't wait to hear your podcast to hear you talk about some of this movie stuff.
Once it gets definitely. Once I have a title, I was thinking of having it called a podcast to be named later. That's one thing I was actually thinking about. But I actually am going to be working on a podcast. It's more about pop culture, and it's going to be talking about movies.
Movies from the
What's
man
that? Sorry?
cave. Movies from the man
Movies
cave.
from the man cave. I'll
I
take
don't
that
know
under
if that's a
advisement.
That ending, it's yours. It's yours. I give it to you. I gift it to you.
Or
I
Noob Noob's
appreciate
version, which would be movies in a bear cave.
All right.
No, I definitely appreciate you letting me be part of this. You know, it's sometimes you have to have a little exposure, you know, just getting that voice out. But right now I've been on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. I'm actually trying on the bottom of each of my things. I'm also trying to start a personal blog on Facebook, which I should be putting more stuff on there as well. But it has a link right there to Facebook. So you can follow me there as well. I'm having a little fun with it. How about that?
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you coming on and reliving some of these horror movie, the funness of, and that's what I love about horror, is it just takes you in so many directions. There's so much good stuff to talk about, and it brings back, you know, childhood memories, then adult memories. It's awesome.
I don't know how old you are, but my childhood is a very long time ago.
My childhood is fairly long ago. I just I keep trying to recapture movies that I saw on like Saturdays that were probably repeats that you wouldn't be allowed to show children today. That's what I do.
Yeah, well, think about this. There was a film called Wait Until Dark. You know, think about that. There's a lot of films that just played with your mind. It scared you. I hear music in the background.
Yes, because Scott is playing us off. This is his thing to wrap it up.
It's his way of saying
subtle.
Yes, this is Scott playing in the background.
But I like I said, anytime you guys want me, I'm more than happy. I'll try to ignore a lot of noob his words of
Can't
wisdom.
ignore me.
We do. That's all we do.
I'll find you.
He's there to add some levity to the commentary.
I love to give exposure, but to men of age. I'm not Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks fucks little kids is what I'm trying to say.
That's allegedly. You cannot. No.
Oh, he likes to play with their Toy Story.
No, I'm going to turn your mic off.
Blast off into
soon.
Woody.
Nope. No, I'm not even going there. Anyway, we appreciate you coming on, Mark, from Cinephile Man Cave.
Thank you very much for the invite.
And stay tuned. We'll be having more horror stuff. We're doing it all this week. So I think we're going to have a discussion about Tremors. Scott's not allowed to talk because Scott did an unboxing. You could watch Scott if you want to see more of him. He unboxed his iPhone because he's rich, apparently, and got the newest iPhone. He'll show you all about it. You can also watch Noob review a J Balvin meal, which is McDonald's and him stuffing his dumb face with food. And you get to also hear us talk about the Invincible trailer that just came out. So from all of us here at Our Reviews Will Kill You to all of y'all at home, we love y'all, and on to the next one.
You've had greatest of fears.